Hello. Hi, I'm Sue Cooper, and welcome to Feast for the Soul 2026, our 19th Feast for the Soul. And our theme this year and every year is peace. We are a peace movement. And in this time of transformation, we're looking about how can we transform with more inner peace, more harmony, and live a compassionate life for ourselves, for each other, and form communities and take that radiance of heart-based resonance into the world. So this is day 9, and it's Friday Feast, friends. And the friend that we have with us today is a wonderful, wonderful man who's been with us for 6 years on Feast for the Soul, Gavin Andrews, who's based in the UK and is the managing director of HeartMath, UK and Ireland. So I'm going to introduce you, Gavin. So Gavin's passion and purpose is to help people connect with their own heart and with the hearts of others through the simple practice of heart coherence. Gavin, for 14 years, has been the managing director of HeartMath in the UK and Ireland, and is also the co-founder of Syntropy, a well-being website featuring 100 plus video artworks that help you to calm your mind and balance your body through the power of beautiful art and music. And we will be posting a beautiful heart resonance syntropy artwork of transformation on Feast for the Soul website. So, Gavin, thank you so much for being here. It is such a delight to have you, and I am going to pass over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. Yeah, and thanks to you, thanks to Sarah and Susie, everyone else at Feast for the Soul for inviting me yet again, sixth year. And I really appreciate again the opportunity to share heart math and syntropy with you all, and particularly appreciate the opportunity to share and enjoy a heart meditation together as well. So Sue just mentioned one of the treats we've got is a Syntropy video for you, which we'll send everyone the link for. But what I want to do now is to move into heart coherence and why it's really so important for us to spend, particularly now, more of our time in heart coherence. And it's so important right now because I probably don't need to remind too many of you that we're living in particularly crazy, chaotic, confusing, challenging times right now. Yes, we're seeing increasing conflicts, we're seeing increasing polarization, but then amongst all of that, we're also seeing the emergence of something new, and that might not make the news quite as much, but there's definitely a growing recognition amongst more and more people that the old systems, the beliefs, the power structures, they're no longer fit for purpose for humanity. They don't serve humanity well. And there are new paradigms emerging socially, economically, technologically, spiritually, all aspects of our lives. New paradigms emerging that are what will take us into the next stage of our evolution and which are much more connected to the heart of humanity, what it really means to be human. So it's an exciting time to be alive, I think. And of course, it can also be confusing, disorientating, and it's relatively easy to find ourselves falling back into the traps of separation, the us and the them perceptions of polarization. And so during this time, it is especially important that we all connect more frequently and more deeply with our hearts, and also indeed with the hearts of others as well. So we need to feel more love in these times. And if we do, then love will see us through to the other side of all of this. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard of Dr. Rollin McCraty. So Rollin is he's one of the co-founders of HeartMath, along with Dr. Childre, Howard Martin, Deborah Rosman, and others. And Rollin's also the head of research for the HeartMath Institute. And just at the start of this year, Rollin wrote a lovely article, and I thought I'd actually share his words with you instead of me sharing more of my words with you. I thought I'd actually share his words because I think he encapsulates all of this beautifully. And he is, of course, the guru of all things HRV and heart coherence. So the article's titled "What Are You Feeding the Field?" And it originally appeared on the Daily Good website, which some of you might be familiar with. So this is what Rollin wrote. These are his words. I've been talking more openly about the frequency spectrum of love lately, even in scientific circles, because I think a lot of people are confused about love in a certain way. When I say the frequency spectrum of love, I mean it literally. These are frequencies that we can measure in the fields that we're all radiating. So let me explain. When we put electrodes on the body to measure the heart, what's being measured is its current flow. Wherever there's a flow of current, you create a magnetic field. Magnetic fields go through things. This is why our cell and mobile phones work indoors. And we show back in the 1990s that magnetic field of the heart carries information about our emotional states. You can watch the patterns change as you change emotional states using something called spectrum analysis. This is real science. So what we feel inside doesn't stop at the skin. This is literal. This is science. And it's affecting others in measurable ways. Love isn't one frequency. It's actually an octave. Compassion, forgiveness, appreciation, gratitude, patience, and more. Each has subtle but measurable differences in the electromagnetic field that we all radiate. Am I extending compassion to someone because they cut me up in traffic? I really don't know what their day's like. Or that person who said something sideways to me in a meeting, because I probably did it last week, or I'll do it next week. A little forgiveness needs to be mixed in. Patience is a super big one. Impatience just eats our energy and takes us into choppy seas internally. But when we consciously breathe a feeling of patience, of inner stillness, we shift the frequency we're broadcasting. So what are you feeding the field? One of my calls to action is simple. Pause as often as you can and remember throughout the day to ask yourself, what am I feeding the field? What's the vibration I'm radiating right now? If it's maybe some under the radar anxiety or some fears or envy or jealousy, any of that low frequency stuff, you can shift it. Do some heart focused breathing. Pretend you're breathing right through the center of your chest, slower and deeper. And then breathe a feeling. On the in-breath, breathe in a feeling like inner stillness. Consciously breathe the inner stillness into that complex emotional system. Because that emotional system is running the show. For most of us, it's the mind that's activating that system and causing the choppy waves. So doing this practice, breathing a feeling of inner peace or stillness into the heart, and then just being quiet and listening for the inner voice, the inner rhythms, that's how we start to become more aware. What I've finally gotten into in my own life, the straightest line path to rapidly increasing my level of awareness and consciousness, is to radiate love. I was a meditator for years before I got involved in this work, and I could have great meditations and even fly around the universe. But then I could get in my car and be frustrated before I even got to my office. It didn't transfer into day-to-day life. Once I learned heart coherence, I honestly made more personal gain and progress in 3 to 4 months than I did in years of meditation. I still meditate. I just do heart focused meditation now. And what I've discovered, and many people have told me the same thing recently, is that meditation has really been about stilling the mind enough so that they could finally hear the voice of the heart. If you're coherent and you're radiating a coherent signal, people naturally feel it, whether it's feeling safer, more trusting, or simply more at ease. You can't fake it. If your feelings aren't matching what you're saying, people know. It creates a mixed signal that we quickly and unconsciously pick up on. And here's what surprised me in our research. I had this hypothesis that if I'm coherent, if I'm radiating coherent fields, people will synchronize to me. But I was completely wrong. Being coherent actually creates a stable system. And out of that stability comes another level of sensitivity. So your brain waves actually begin synchronizing to the other person's heart. You've got access to the energetic information. You can sense their field, but you're stable, so you're not knocked out of coherence yourself. And this is why maintaining our own emotional system in coherence may even be more important than all of the other things we focus on. The nutrition, the sleep, the supplements, those matter, of course, but the emotional system runs the show. It controls our longevity, our healthy aging, our memories, everything. The magnetic field of the Earth vibrates at the same fundamental frequency as our heart-brain coherence, 0.1 hertz or a 10-second rhythm. We probably have the rhythms we do because we evolved in the frequency of the Earth. Those fields act as synchronizing signals that we naturally tune to, unless we get too stressed. Our studies show that when people practice coherence, they're not as affected by external disturbances, whether it's solar flares or just being in a noisy, chaotic city. You can still maintain that level of inner composure. So I keep coming back to the same simple practice. Pause and ask yourself what you're feeding the field. And if it's not what you want to be radiating, take a few heart-focused breaths. Breathe in stillness, breathe in patience, breathe in one of those frequencies in the spectrum of love. Because we're always broadcasting something, and so we might as well make it beautiful. So those are Rollin's words. I hope you found them interesting, maybe inspiring as well. But probably what's more important to do now is to practice, is to do what Rollin suggests, and let's spend some time together feeding the field with love. So we're going to do a heart focused meditation together. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a meditation of the octave of the frequencies of love. So let's just begin with what we call heart focused breathing, where what we're doing is we're just taking our attention and our awareness down into the sort of the heart or the chest area. So I just invite you to drop your awareness attention down into the heart or the chest. Pop your hand there if you like. That can be very useful in terms of anchoring your awareness there. And now that we've got our awareness in the heart area or chest area, just imagine that your breath is flowing into and flowing out of your heart or your chest. So I know it can't literally, we still need to make sure our belly's nice and relaxed, but it's just having the awareness there and imagining that breath flowing in and flowing out. And maybe shifting your breathing so that you're breathing a little slower and a little deeper than normal. Still making sure it's nice and comfortable. And as you're breathing, trying to pick up a pace of maybe 5 seconds for your in breath, 5 seconds for your out breath, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, something like that. The most important thing is that it's actually a comfortable pace for you. So nice and slow, deeper than normal, nice and comfortable. Focusing in the heart. And as you continue to breathe, just try to get that breath really nice and smooth and sustained. So this lovely, smooth, sustained inflow of breath. And then just a normal, natural transition, and then breathing out nice and smooth and sustained. So that in effect, you've got this lovely cycle of breath flowing in and flowing out. And as we breathe like this, what we're doing is we're empowering our breath to influence our heart and autonomic nervous system. And our heart rhythms will start going into this lovely, smooth, ordered rhythm, these cycles, these oscillations. And that then spreads to the rest of the brain, the rest of the body. And as we continue, we find ourselves in a lovely heart coherent state, heart brain coherent state. Okay, so as we continue to breathe, we'll begin our journey through the different frequencies of love. So I invite you, first of all, to radiate out the frequencies and the feelings of care. So on your out breath, radiate out the frequencies and feelings of care out into the world, out to others. If you wish, that could be to specific people, or it could just be to the entirety of humanity, of all life, all sentient life. And just breathing out those feelings and frequencies of care. And as you take your in breath, breathe the feelings and frequencies of care into and for yourself. We'll just spend a minute breathing the feelings and frequencies of care. Okay, so now I'd like to invite you on your out breath to radiate out the feelings and frequencies of compassion. Breathing the frequencies and feelings of compassion out into the world, and breathing the feelings and frequencies of compassion back into and for yourself. And now I invite you to radiate out the feelings and frequencies of appreciation. So on your out breath, breathing out those feelings and frequencies of appreciation. And on your in breath, breathing them back into and for yourself. Now let's move to gratitude. So radiating out the feelings and frequencies of gratitude. That could be for someone, something in your life. And remembering to also breathe the frequencies and feelings of gratitude back into and for yourself. Up the octave of love even further to understanding. So radiate out the feelings and frequencies of understanding. And then on your in breath, breathe those feelings and frequencies of understanding back into and for yourself. Now let's move to forgiveness. So on your out breath, radiate out the feelings and frequencies of forgiveness into the world. And in breath, breathing the feelings and frequencies of forgiveness back into and for yourself. And now I invite you to radiate out the feelings and frequencies of patience out into the world. Patience as we navigate this transformation. And remembering the in breath to breathe feelings and frequencies back into and for yourself. The final frequency, the frequency of courage, and courage to stay true to ourselves, to stay connected to our hearts, even amongst the chaos. So radiating out into the world, the feelings, the frequencies of courage, and breathing the frequencies and feelings of courage back into and for yourself. And now, finally, just for the last minute, I'd like to invite you to see, sense, or feel our shared home, planet Earth. And just to see, sense, or feel, imagine that field surrounding the Earth, filled with your love and filled with our collective love. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Brings us to the end of our meditation. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that as you navigate the coming weeks, months, years, maybe of this transformation that we're on, that you'll regularly look into your heart and ask yourself that question: what are you feeding the field? And then choose to feed it with something positive and beautiful, just like Rollin said. Thank you.